Hey everybody, this is our first episode of our My Little Pony podcast. I'm Dr. Freedom,
I'm Aphos.
yep. uh, also known as Ethan. So when say Ethan,
Yes, that
I
is me.
fail
That's it
miserably.
fucking up.
That's me fucking up. We were originally going to record it with me not calling him Aphos, but after like 8 takes, we said fuck it. And also, we've recorded a few other videos now where I just call him Ethan, so it's a lost cause. Anyways,
This is our introductory one, just
yeah,
giving a background about uh us in the fandom
us in
basically.
the fandoms. Yeah. So we're gonna let me pull this up. All right. So I'm gonna start with how I got into the fandom because I got Ethan into the fandom. Spoilers. So uh, so we're gonna start me. So I was just on Xbox with a bunch of friends. They were talking about My Little Pony. I was like, "What the fuck? You're watching My Little Pony? That's really weird." And they were like, "No, no, you can't judge it without watching it." And I was like, everyone else who's now into the show, and I was like, all right, I guess that's fair. And they were like, all right, well, go watch season 1, episode 16, which is Sonic Rain Boom, and I did, and I was like, it wasn't bad at all, because like most little kid stuff, you're like, you watch it and you're like, my brain hurts, this is pretty bad, but Ponies is good. So I watched a bunch more episodes, and I also saw I got in right as Lesson Zero season 2 episode 3 came out, so I was right around that time. So huzzah, that episode was great. So I watched that, and I, of course, just binged it like everyone else at the time because you could binge it then. It was only like one season basically. So did all that, um, and then eventually, okay, I guess we should go with you now.
Okay, yeah. Um so my first interaction with the show was a friend of mine asked me like obviously he didn't want to tell me that he watched My Little Pony because like we were in high school and that's not something you tell people. But he was like, "Do you know what a brony is?" And I, of course, was like, "No, what is it?" And he was like, "I'm not telling you." And I was like, "Okay, whatever, I don't care." And
Didn't
then
even Google
later,
it.
later
Didn't even know.
on, I literally didn't care. Somebody actually told me what it was, and I tormented him for a while. Um, actually, I think I gave it a shot, and I like tried to watch an episode, which was the first Trixie episode, and I was like, "This is not. I can't do this."
The first Trixie episode was great. Um,
I don't. Well, I even now like I don't like Trixie. So like,
yeah. So
but yeah. So I tried to watch it. And I couldn't do it. Eventually, this friend and I were hanging out, and Paluch got introduced to
yeah,
us.
we were in the library. We went to the same high school, so we were in the library, and I had previously run into Cole and had maybe like 4 words exchanged. I saw his Pinkie Pie phone background. Good shit. But back in the day. So, but anyway, so I ran into Ethan and
Yeah.
was like,
Basically, he sat down at the table, and I didn't know this kid at all. So I was like immediately like, "Oh,
random
this is
fucking
kind of
kid.
weird." And then they started talking about ponies, and I was like, "I'm not into this. Like, don't even." And somehow he convinced me to read a fanfic, which
Yeah.
is Through the Eyes,
Oh
and
man.
that was it. I was hooked.
Doomed.
Dude.
Forever doomed. So, and then we're gonna real quick. We both fell out of the fandom around the Twi'lek Ascension. I think the last episode I saw before falling off was that we just went. I can't remember the name, but it's the CMC episode where they're like planning to do the intro for the Equestria Games.
Yeah, I don't even think I got that far. I was like in the middle of the season.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, we finished season 3, and then I dropped off there. He dropped off before that. Like everyone we knew
Yeah,
basically stopped
that's
watching.
it wasn't so much that like I didn't like the show anymore. It was like I was in it for the fandom and the fandom like my connections to it just like literally dropped off the face of the earth. So it was like I I had no outlet to enjoy it, I guess.
Well, and then I was in a clan, a Brony Halo clan, and it just like totally fell apart for completely unrelated reasons. So that hurt it a lot too for me. So yeah, kind of just fell out. And then me and him the one night were just sort of like doing the whole nostalgia trip, and we just fucking hooked ourselves back in, hook, line,
Well,
and sinker.
you basically what happened is we started off just looking at draw friends, which
Yeah.
didn't immediately get me back into it. It was looking at the draw friends and then being like, "Oh, I want to go reread this fanfic." So once again, it was the fan fiction that was like, "Oh, guess I'm a brony again."
Yeah, yeah. Well, cause I used to go through Draw Friends, um, just like habitually, because I would get there early in the morning before English class in college, um, and just have like some time, and I would go through draw friends and just save the ones I like. And we are on draw friend number uh, 1083, and I started on like 600 something. So that gives you a reference. Of course, they're like on 1,900 something. So I'm really, really far behind, but it doesn't help. I fell out of the fandom, like I said, and didn't touch it. But I saved the tab, um, oddly. So, anyways, where were we? Pull that up. Okay, so I think we're gonna just go over our favorite fanfic. Ethan's gonna be really obvious, and we basically just did how we got back in. I have that listed here
Yeah,
too, so that's covered. So we just have to do favorite fanfic, because those are really relevant, at least for us two.
yeah.
Obviously for you, and then Octavia's my favorite pony. So totally important for me. So go.
Okay, I'm first. All right. So as I said, it was Through the Eyes. If you haven't read it, you should read it, but read the right one.
Yeah, the old one.
Um, I mean, I've always loved reading, so like it was kind of obvious that that's what got me into it. But I have such mixed feelings about this fanfic because I read the original and I fell in love with it, and then for unknown reasons to me, the author
Hard's laughter.
only wrote like 14 chapters basically. I mean, there is a 15th chapter, but
We'll get there.
doesn't count. And I mean, I'm not going to go into like the specifics about what it's about. It's just like it was started off as a self-insert and then it grew and that turned into more of like its own character. Um but yeah, the author wrote this 15th chapter which was completely unlike the rest of the fic. Like
Yeah, I mean,
different setting,
oh
the
God,
characters acted different, the tone was different.
it was like you like. I mean, he
It was
literally
a
had.
totally
You
different
like
story.
woke up in a different world, and you're like, this isn't the fan fiction I remember. What's it was like? Because it was like real, like not serious before, and like it was real comedic, and it was super enjoyable. And then you were like, had it wasn't dark, but it was like definitely serious, and you were like, what? This is not what I'm used to reading from you. What is going on?
And then basically what happened is he released this 15th it's a two-part, but he released the 15th chapter and nobody liked it. So instead of continuing to write it, he was like, okay, well, maybe I'll go back and fix the old stuff.
He did a
And by
George.
fix the old
He did
stuff,
a
he
George
secretly
Lucas.
meant ruin it horribly. Because it just, part of the charm of the story was that it was like written in a sort of
Unprofessional tone.
unprofessional way. Like it was all, the character was like trolling and joking the whole time. And like, yes, he went back and like improved the mechanics of his writing, but the tone of it is totally different, and like certain things happen in different ways, and it's just.
He's definitely changed a few things. I haven't read the new ones, right? But he's been like, oh,
I
I
started
had to
reading
read
them and
this.
I was like, no, it's like not even the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. So anyway, yeah, that's my fanfic story. It's
It's
very,
like it's probably like if you came home the one day and you walked in your house and everything was just slightly wrong.
yeah, like everything was just like moved a little bit. So
Yeah.
like somebody who'd never seen it before, like it wouldn't like look like the house was a fucking mess. Like it would look okay, but to somebody who's lived there, it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
like this
Yeah,
isn't
it's
supposed to be
those
here. What's
kinds of
going
things
on?
like those things are honestly sometimes worse than if they changed everything because you're just sort of like I know how it should be. And it's
It's
not.
like the thing I would kind of equate it to is like an uncanny valley effect, where it's like
Yeah.
it looks close to being real, but it's also disturbingly not.
Yeah. So, that
But
fic.
yeah, that's my fanfic description without going too in depth about the whole thing. But I love it. I hate it. I love it. that's my
Uh,
that's my feelings on the matter.
all right. So I guess I'm gonna do. So I chose to do Vinyl and Octavia University Days. I have read. So quick background: Vinyl and Octavia is like my ship. So I at one point had read so many fics of those two on fanfiction that I would start reading one and realize halfway through that I had already read it and I knew what was going to happen next. It was that bad. So Uni Days is not the first one I ever read, but it is the best. Two's Company, Three's a Crowd is pretty good too. Changes, which isn't real well known and is not finished. Like I like just updated it again after like a year or two. I haven't read the new chapters unfortunately, but that one was really good. I'll link them all. Just here's University Days, and here's Two's Company, and here's Changes. Allegrezza I've read. I know that was like the big one that started it all, but I didn't think it was. It's not bad, obviously. Link I guess here. I got links all over the screen, but um, but so that is not like one of my personal favorites. But University Days is Vinyl and Octavia, of course, like start off with like this hate relationship, like they do in basically every other fanfic, unless it's like already set up with them in a relationship. That's the other thing writers really do. That's what Two's Company does, and like yeah. So it starts off with them at uni, and they kind of get set up by the professor, and I really enjoyed it. And Dawn Fade, that's the name of the author, is just it's super well written and it like makes you think about things. It was just a really good fan fiction and totally gave me some like new perspective on the ship that I had already read like a million ship fics of. So when something does that, it's like worthy of noting. So I think that's my fic. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can weigh on it a little bit because I actually read it
Yeah, I
specifically
had
for
him
this
read it
video, but
just to,
um,
and then it took us
literally my
months.
only complaint about it was that it was so short. So
Yeah,
like that should
well,
give you
and
an idea.
for reference, Ethan is reading Fallout Equestria, and well, he already read Fallout Equestria, as did I.
Twice. I've read it twice.
We're gonna. That is, you read it twice. I've read it once and want to read it again. And so, but he's reading Project Horizons. So when he's saying it's too short,
I haven't touched it in like months, but
I haven't
I'm like
touched.
halfway through.
Because I started reading it and then I was like, man, this is really long and I have to do other things, and so I didn't read it. And then I was like, oh man, I'm gonna read it again, and I got to chapter 3 and still on chapter 3.
I mean, I've
So
read enough of it that I've essentially read Fallout Equestria another time. So let's put it like that.
yeah, well, it was like twice as long, so that would only mean you're halfway through it, right? So
I mean, I can look at what chapter I'm on.
okay, but yeah, so we will do a whole video, I'm sure, on Fallout Equestria. I'm not going to provide a link because I don't think it's going to be up, but that fanfic is so good. It's getting its own video. It's not like these two where we're like, yeah, it was good. It influenced me in the fandom. It's like, wow, that fic. Wow. Your fan fiction is selling on eBay for over $800 in print, you know you're done good.
Yeah,
Let's
I'm on
just put
like
it that way.
43 out of like 47 plus in epilogue, so basically exactly halfway through.
Wait, you're on 43 out of 47, and that's halfway through?
No, out of 77.
Oh, you said 47.
Oops.
Yeah, oops. All right. Well, yeah, that's almost exactly halfway through.
So anyway, thank you for watching.
Ooh.
If you are watching and you care enough, you should tell us what to talk about.
Because we need ideas.
Make a
We
nice little
will run out.
comment down there.
Preferably a little bit older stuff. I mean, I've done listened to a lot of music. I've read a bunch of fanfics.
I am less able to talk about the music, but I'll try my best. I can do
Um,
some reading up,
I'll just play
listening
dubstep
up.
in the background and it'll sound right. So can do that. Ethan and me can talk about fanfics all day. We can talk about ships. We can talk about headcanons. We can talk
I'm not above
whatever.
specifically reading a fanfic if it's short for a video, so
Oh, let's just
yeah.
read Project Horizons then.
If you have anything you want us to talk about, tell us.
All
We
right.
will do it.
So thank you for watching. I feel super generic YouTube here, but like, subscribe, comment with ideas. Thanks for watching.